Welcome to Talking with Tech. My name's Chris Bouguet, and I'm here with Rachel Madel. Hi, Rachel.
Hey, Chris.
Oh, we're not here alone, Rachel. We're here with Bob Sagoo. Bob, how's it going?
Hi guys. Yeah, it's going good, thank you.
Bob, this is not your first time on the podcast, but just in case this is the first time people are hearing you on the podcast, can you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
My name is Bob Sagoo. I am based here in as you can probably tell from the accent, I am based in England, in a town called Nottingham, which is well known for Sherwood Forest and obviously Robin Hood. I've been in the assistive tech and AAC industry for, crikey, I have to think about this now. Probably about 17, 18 years now. Got into the industry to find an AAC solution for my son Harchie, and as a parent, and my interest or motivation was finding a high-tech solution for him to access. And he utilized eye gaze from a very early age. And my interest in the industry developed from there. I started signposting other parents and carers to certain elements of assistive tech and AAC until it was suggested to me that maybe it's something I ought to look at doing properly, as it were. So I started in the industry running my own company called iHelp Innovations back in 2013, I think. And then from there, went on to look at other areas of AAC, then delved into assistive technology. And my journey to bring you up to date, I am working for a company called Praetorian Technologies, who make alternative computer and switch access solutions. Again, we're based here in the UK, but my brief is to support our distributors, our users, and that whole remit globally. So I do travel quite a bit. And case in point, I'll be over at ATIA later on in the month. But yeah, that's me. From a personal perspective, my motivation for being in this industry is my son, Arch. Sadly, my Harchie passed away unexpectedly just before Christmas 2024. And but the motivation remains. And one of the things I'm really excited to talk about to you guys today is what we plan to do with a foundation which is going to continue Archie's work, and I'll talk about that a bit later on. But yeah, really excited to be here again and talking to these guys, and and to all the listeners as well. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Bob, one of the reasons I think you and I met back in the day, like you said, you've been around since for 17, 18 years, and so have I, right? I like to joke that
I look like I have been. You do not look like someone. You're like the Benjamin Button of AT and AC. You do not age, whereas I age.
It's the filters, Bob. It's the filters on Zoom. That's what is making me look so young. No, we both have some gray in our beard here. But I think one of the things that brought us together, you, me, and then one of the reasons I got to know Harchie a little bit was your love for gaming. Is that fair? Like you guys were big into accessible gaming, and Archie was sort of a gamer. And is that a fair? I think that's one of the things that bonded us over the years. Is that fair?
Absolutely. I think Arch was keen to explore all different aspects of access, and communication was something he nailed on to quite quickly. But there was other activities that he wanted to utilize with his device, and gaming was something that he was really keen to explore and to go down. Unfortunately, I was in a position to sort of like help facilitate that with Praetorian, because Praetorian has a very extensive assistive gaming range, as it were, for both eye gaze users, switch users, and individuals that use joysticks, trackballs, and so forth. So yeah, he loved it, and he loved, and what gaming could provide him. It was an outlet for him to express himself, to interact with people that he wouldn't necessarily see all the time. But he was a regular, teenager, going to a young man, and it was something that all of his peers were doing, and it's something that he wanted to take part in and enjoy. And there were so many games that he really enjoyed playing and got into. So yeah, very much so.
Yeah, yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about his history with AAC and kind of where it started and grew over the years?
I'm sorry, you have to wait to the presentation. No, I'm just joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. So Harchie's journey really started, and this is where I think with respect to his AAC journey, um, um, he I think the early days and the support he saw and the learning curve he took. We went through the low tech solutions or no tech to low tech communication books and so forth. That really did give him the grounding to then move in an upward slope in with regards to his AAC learning curve, because he learned the basics really well and people got to interact with him. He then understood, okay, I think I'm beyond my communication book. I need something that's quicker. And Harch is one of those niche users who access AAC who have no cognitive impairment. So his condition, his CP was relating to fine and gross motor skills and speech. Other than that, he had no learning disability. And I'm finding a lot of individuals that access eye gaze do have a very good level of cognitive ability. So they want that speed and that interaction that you get when regular people talk to each other. Such so he was really wanting ways and means to be able to speak and to communicate at that speed and at that pace and in that detail. So so very early on, I mean, at 4 years of age, now you've got eye gaze users so much younger. But I think personally, from my experience, going down the route of low tech really did give him the grounding to sort of like then move in a nice uniform sort of pace. But also his parents, it gives us the background knowledge is to go, okay, I know how to construct, I know how to formulate, a grid set or page set for him. Oh, I know how to use I mean, I think we went through about 3 laminators, just burnt through them. I mean, I used to get the big cases of laminating sheets because that's what you do. I cuts on my fingers and everything. But as your child's vocabulary expands, so does this communication book. And with Harch, it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And so we had to sort of whittle it down to make it a bit more easy for him to utilize. And I realized actually it became pretty redundant because he was so quick at responding that we needed to look at medium tech to high tech very, very quickly. So I would say what really helped in his journey was, he was very fortunate to find people in education and in therapy that recognized those attributes that he had and encouraged that, but challenged him as well. But a lot of it came from him and his desire to say, I want to do more, I want to communicate more, I want to be able to access more. And that's why he went into a mainstream educational route very, very early on. But yeah, and his AAC journey then continued with eye gaze. He saw so many different iterations of eye gaze. From this is where people will sort of like cringe when you go like to the, oh my god, is it the old Mytobi with a big screen on a trolley, huge thick cable into a PC tower system. That's where he had his first eye gaze assessment. And I remember that vividly because his communication was really good. He used eye pointing. Up was yes, down was no, left and right will, or roll his eyes if he was just want to be a bit sarcastic. But his communication was really, really clear. And I remember going to this assessment with this huge screen, this eye gaze system. Talking to the technician, I put Harch in front of the screen. We haven't even done a calibration. I mean, at that time, you had to calibrate every time to utilize it. So we hadn't actually run a calibration. I'm talking to the technician, just getting a bit more information off them. And unbeknownst to me, he's actually realized that the cursor is, he can move the cursor with his eyes. He's able to realize I can navigate around the screen. And there is a book. It's a digital book on the screen. And I just hear this like click, 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 click noise, and I look around, and he's actually. Oh, I don't know how it was set up, but I could tell he was reading from left to right, and then turning the page. And he was like, must have been about 3 or 3.5. I'm just my mouth's on the floor, and I'm like, the technician's like, wow. And then we get everything sort of set up, and he's going through all these different activities and hitting all these different sort of points on the screen, utilizing that really basic rudimentary eye gaze system. And when I say I cringe, he went through the T series, the C series. And here's the cool thing with Harch is that back in the day, those systems were great. It was all that we had, but they were prone to failure in the sense of hardware failure, or it would crash or something like that. And he actually, like probably a lot of users at a particular time, learned to work around these issues, learned to sort of say, okay, well, that's not going to work. Oh, it's not working. Okay, I'll not get annoyed because I know it's not my fault. It's the hardware. So that cognitive and that level of maturity really did help in his AAC sort of journey. So yeah, he saw a lot. He saw the progression and the innovation, and experienced it himself. And so yeah, so his journey started at a very young age, again with low tech, and then we just progressed on from there.
What system did he end up with?
Well, he went. So he used in the early days, he used a C series, an I series, and so forth. But it was always within the Grid 3 or Grid 2. So Grid 2 ecosystem with Smartbox, and then he went on the Grid 3. The device that I still have, which is it's a GridPad 13, and you guys know because you were at ATIA last year that Harch was involved in the development of the GridPad 13, and he beta tested that and fed back a lot of information to the guys at Smartbox. And his role as an ambassador was such as that he was at the launch days for the GridPad 13 here in the UK, and presented at both of these events, and drew quite a few laughs and giggles from all the very, very senior sort of therapists and professionals that were there. He had them in the palm of his hand. But yeah, he developed the GridPad 13 and was just so excited. He was talking to Smartbox about what he wanted to see in his device, and it's not taking it away from his presentation, but what he felt was we were just scratching the surface with regards to what these devices can do or should be doing. He loved the idea of AI. He really, really felt that was going to really move things forward in a really, really big way, in a huge leap forward. And things like, for example, I know a lot of talk was on with regards to devices last year at ATI, with location services, having the location services switched on so your device knows where you are. The Harch was very keen to sort of like say, I don't want to have someone reconstruct a page set or grid set for me. I want to see ways that AI will, for example, if I go into a coffee shop and the device will know you're in a coffee shop, it'll bring up, okay, you're in Starbucks. Here's the menu. What would you like to what are you thinking of ordering? Now, if he's already been to Starbucks, it's a regular haunt for him. He'll know what he orders. So I'll say, look, prompt you, would you like to order this? Right, okay, that's awesome. But then he wants to take that into when he goes clothes shopping, and he wants to have a look around, or wants to do food shopping. That's where he saw how AI could help with his day-to-day sort of elements, but also with his communication. He felt that the construct that we have for AAC with regards to grid sets and so forth, he wanted to move beyond that because he actually felt that was quite restrictive. He wants to embrace predictive text, predictive AAC. And one of the things that he was really keen to do was, he said, "Oh, this is my device." I was really fortunate in 2024 the early part of 2024, I'd come back from ATIA, and oh, my watch is saying something to me. We'd come back from ATIA and we talked about, he loved the stories I told him about ATIA. He talked to me while I was over there, and just want a full debrief when I got back. But what he felt was like, he says, all my device has a front-facing camera. It needs to do a lot more than just be for communication or, virtual calls and so forth. And what we talked about was how the front-facing camera now, which on a lot of devices now are very high spec, is I want it to be able to look at facial recognition and actually utilizing AI. And this is probably coming from when he was diagnosed with diabetes. What he felt the device should do is learn your facial expressions. So if you're a bit down or upset or something isn't quite right, your device prompts you to say, "Hey Bob, hey Harch, are you feeling okay? Is there anyone you want me to contact, or is there anybody, what can you tell me what the problem is?" That's what he wanted to utilize. This is just one of so many different examples of how he felt AT and especially communication devices should be able to do. He knows that, having worked with Smartbox and known all the the tech element with regards to his device, he knows it's more than capable of doing that sort of thing. And he would believe it actually for it. So the reason for they were planning for 2024 was that he wanted to do the Pankey presentation. He liked the idea of it all being fully paid for. He thought, this would be cool. I can go over there and I don't have to pay for anything. But part of that is that you have to do the Q&A on your own, which is something he hadn't quite worked on. So for 2024, we were getting presentations together, but also working on the Q&A element so he could actually do that comfortably on his own. And you know what, we unfortunately, ran out of time in that degree. But that's the way he sees AI and innovation are the things that really are going to really take huge steps forward and going to benefit his community. And he's very much aware that the AAC community, he was a big part of that, and he saw his role as being someone, as an advocate, to say, this is what needs to happen, this is what we need to do, but not in a confrontational way. And that was the beauty of his whole approach and how he is that people are drawn to him. And he used that to say, okay, I want to talk with the industry. I want to engage with the industry. And yeah, that's one of the things that his foundation is going to continue is that, to be that conduit. So individuals can feed back to the industry, this is what we want to see, rather than at the moment it's being the industry designing a solution and saying, here you go. They need to be involved in the design process, in the the early concept and how it's going to be put together and so forth. And that's what he wanted to do, and that's what the foundation one of the things that the foundation will endeavor to try and put in place.
Tell us more about the foundation. I'm really excited to hear about it. This is one element of it. Does it have a name? Like, what else are you planning to do?
Cool. So yes, it has a name. Unfortunately, I didn't realize when I decided to set this foundation up what is actually involved in setting up a foundation from a legal perspective, from a financial, requirement perspective. You're going to have a statement, and there is a whole infrastructure that needs to be in place. And last year was incredibly busy for us on a number of levels. So the name of the foundation is called the Harchie Way, because I try to, it was actually a friend of ours that said, he's example of living and so forth. And this was something that summed up who he is and his outlook on life and such. So that was the name that we went with. And what it's going to do, I alluded to the foundation, one of the aspects of the foundation, to be a conduit. So AACU, because there are individuals who are as passionate about as passionate as Harchie was about innovation, about adopting innovation and into AAC and AT. So we want to be a conduit for those individuals to the industry. Harchie knew a lot of people. I know a lot of people. So when we're hoping that we can, through that, just get that dialogue, get that route through, so individuals can put across to the industry what it is they want to see, and that will benefit the industry, because I'm part of the industry as well. So we would, to tailor a solution, if we've got that input from users, then that's fabulous. With the Praetorian, we value that input, we value that feedback, and I think the industry as a whole will embrace that. But it's bringing the two together, and to be that conduit to feed, and it works both ways. So it goes from the users to the industry, but also the industry to the users, to say, look, this is what we're trying to do, this is what we want to do. And rather it being a finished concept and here, you try it out for us, we want to be involved. The community should be involved, at the very beginning, at the very early stages of a solution with regards to the concept. It's happening in gaming. It is happening in assistive gaming. You see it in mainstream. I'm following the CES show, the Consumer Electronics Show in Vegas. Couldn't get over there this year to try. So could justify it. But a lot of people there are talking about accessibility, and not as a token gesture, but as being something that's engineered in from the very conceptual sort of stage of a solution. And that's what we need. That's what we need from mainstream, is to say, okay, we need to think about all demographics as far as access goes. And so that's one of the elements that we do with the foundation. The other one is to promote education in certain areas with regards to awareness, I suppose, and education to a certain degree, with regards to what's required. Harchie's passing was unexpected, completely unexpected, and I think a lot of parents will appreciate this, that sometimes in a medical environment, clinical environment, an individual's needs sometimes can't be fully addressed in the way they ought to be, and there needs to be more sort of sensitivity towards that. So one of the aspects of the foundation is to really engage with healthcare providers. Here we have, in the UK, we have the NHS, National Health Service, and to engage with them to ensure that individuals that aren't able to communicate in the conventional way are staff are trained to just the rudimentaries of being able to communicate and know what questions to ask and how to ask them, and give time for people to respond, as it were. So that's one element. But the other aspect, aside from the education aspect with regards to medical providers, is innovation and talking and engaging with certain mainstream and other elements to ensure that innovation is in there for AT and AAC users. Give you an example of that. We're in discussions with Dexcom, who are one of the biggest manufacturers of glucose monitors. So one of the things that Harch wanted to do, with being type 1 diabetic, is he had a tubeless pump system. They called it an artificial pancreas. Essentially, it was monitor on his arm, pump on his leg, and they talked to each other, and they gave him the required insulin. But a key part of that was he needs to monitor his blood glucose levels, or blood sugar levels, as it were. And he had to utilize his phone for that. What he wants to do is sit on his device. And there is an SDK that Dexcom putting together, so it'll enable, because unfortunately a lot of AAC users, or a number of AAC users, do have other medical conditions as well that they need to manage and they need to monitor. And Harch took the lead on that. And so very much the case is we're talking with Dexcom, and we're going to be working with Smartbox. Something that Smartbox have done, which is really cool, is that they're opening a new development lab at one of their sites in Bristol, and it's going to be that's not official yet, I've been told, but it will be in honor of Harchie. So it'll have his he's have his name there. But yeah, so Dexcom is one. We're talking to financial institutions, banks, because he was very, very careful with his money. He wanted to access his money, he wanted to access his shares and do all that sort of stuff. So it was trying to make sure that accessibility with regards to those sort of elements are properly catered for for individuals that need that level of access as such. So it's lots of different things. And yeah, and other activities. We've got so many things. There's this brain trust of people that are coming together for this foundation, and I'm hoping that come Communication Matters in 2026 September, that we're launched, we're ready to go, and I can just tell you all the exciting things that we want to do. But yeah, it's something that very much is continuing Harchie's work, and his legacy is going to be around that sort of foundation. But I promise you there'll be more detail at the ATA presentation. I'm being real cagey, I really am. But yeah.
You've been teasing this, Bob. Tell us about this presentation, because this is something Harchie you worked on together, right? And you're carrying on with this presentation. Can you tell us a little bit? You teased it now a couple of times.
Okay.
Give us the grand teaser, the final trailer, if you will.
Right. So Chris had the real privilege of getting to meet Hart, so he knows his sense of humor, and Rachel, he was desperate to come on the set to talk to you, and I told him stories about you, and all good, honestly. So he was presenting all from 2023. He was doing presentations virtually and in person. But ATIO is the one that he really wanted to do. And what his presentation is, look, this is my journey and the ups and the downs. So we've got about, I've gone through the other day, we've probably got about 13 or 14 presentations mapped out. That one or two more than one or two, I've delivered those on his behalf. I started in Paris probably last year, been to Edinburgh, and a few other sort of like here locally as well in the UK. And how we've done these is that Harchie's element is done via his eye gaze device. So all I do is facilitate the next page set that he's grid set, he's accessing, and it's his device. So it's his words are being spoken through his device. Where the ATIA presentation is going to differ slightly is that is going to be at least 60 to 70% of the presentation. I will then be talk about the foundation and give a bit more meat on the bones, as it were. Then there is something that is going to be I'm putting together, which if you guys are there, you'll see it. It's not something I would have done if he was here, but it's because he's not here. It's something I'm putting together. I'm doing it at the end because if I did it at the beginning, I won't be able to get through the whole presentation. But it's something that it's my just sort of like the best way I can put it is that there's more to Harch than his AAC journey. There's more to Harch than what is done in this industry with regards to I want people to know the young man and the personality, and so I'm trying to put that together, the latter part, so people can say there are ways that I've got a way of doing it. There is something that's probably going to be rather interesting because I know how he wanted to open his presentation, and it will be loud, but I'm not gonna. I am gonna do it because that's what he wanted to do. So I'll make sure that I do that. So it'll be rather loud, whatever I've got planned, what he ever planned to open up his presentation. But it's key. It's important for me as a parent, as his father, to make sure that I paint a complete picture. And so yeah, that will be difficult, but um, it will be something that's important to him and important to me and important to he and I. So yeah, we're very much a team, and we still are as such in that respect. So yeah, so that's something. It's weird. It's really weird. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to see you guys. I'm looking forward to the presentation, but I know there's going to be parts that are going to really hit hard, and it's more because look, the way I can describe it is that Harge is always going to be my favorite person, and he's always going to be my favorite topic of conversation. It's just that I have to, be just do it on behalf of him, and do it with a smile on my face, because that's how he looked at life, and how he lived his life, with a smile on his face, and just and so much love for everybody. So yeah, I'm trying to be cagey, guys. I really am.
Yeah.
But that last bit is something that is going to be a bit of a homage to him from me, and just to give a complete picture of him, as it were. But yeah, I'm so psyched that ATI have given this opportunity for a posthumous presentation, because I don't think it's something that they do that often, and it's really great to there are so many things that I need to do for Harch, but that's the one thing that he was just so adamant that he wanted to do. So look, I want to come to ATIA, and we'd earmarked probably this year, or to actually have come over. So yeah, it's I say bittersweet, but it's probably a bit more stronger than that. But still, it's going to be a privilege and my honor to bring his presentation to everybody, and hopefully there'll be a few people there.
Yeah,
it's early in the morning. I know it's early in the morning, but yeah.
Bob, what day of the conference is it?
Okay, it's on Friday. I'm looking at my calendar. The 30th, isn't it? Yeah, so 30th of Jan, or Jan 30th. It's at 8:15 in the morning, and I can't remember the actual room, but I'll be banging stuff on social media and to promote that. And look, if anybody is listening who's coming to ATIA and is a parent, wants to hear a parent's perspective, but also more importantly wants to hear a user's perspective on AAC and their journey, what they've struggled with, what their likes and dislikes are, then it's one to certainly come to. And I mean, there are so many great presentations on. I mean, that's a great thing about ATA. It's look, I'll take my exhibitor hat off and say, yeah, the exhibition is great to look at new products and see all the stuff, but the plethora of speakers and presentations is what really makes ATIA. So yeah, it's it's good to be in the mix, as it were.
Well, and I'll add, it's spending time together, right? Like you and I and Rachel, we don't get to see each other in the flesh that often. So getting together after those sessions and talking about how did it go and what's been your life like, I feel like that's a big connection of a big bonus of ATIA as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this, that so obviously last year, ATI came around, and it was a week after Harchie's service. But I felt I needed to go because he had such empathy for people that I know that he would worry how people would be reacting to his passing. So I said, okay, as you do as a parent, you say, right, I've got to do this for my child, and and that's what you do. But I have to say, and you guys maybe don't remember this, but I walked you guys back to the chalet where you were staying, your villa, sorry, you were staying. And we just had a chat. And I have to say that you probably don't realize it helped in so many ways just to have that walk with you guys, and just to talk and shoot the breeze. So it's my, it's the first opportunity I've had to say it, but unfortunately it's not in person, but it will be when I see you. But thank you so much for that, because that really did. It was a difficult time, and I put a bread face on most of the time, but I let my guard down with people that, you know, I'm close, and I'm close to you guys, and it really did help. You know, I can't remember what we were talking about. It's just the way it left me afterwards really helped me out. So thanks, guys. I really appreciate it.
We're so excited to give you a big hug, Bob.
Yes, you may have a cocktail in your hand. You know that, because last time I saw, you always have these cocktails in your hand drinking when you're. It was. I know. I think of the Cree. The Cree was where you were. We all hit the cocktail bar next to the pool of the Cree. I miss those days. But no, yeah. Listen, guys, it's been, and I'll say this. I know this when this goes out, but I always say to people, because here's the thing: both you guys know this, and you've mentioned it in the past, Chris, that people have this impression that they can't come up to you guys. They're like, oh, there's Chris. Oh, crikey, there's Rachel. Oh gosh, I want to go and speak to her, but I don't know. She's like, you know, this is sort of like, and I say, well, dude, guys, just go and talk to them. They're really, they will, you know, they're incredibly approachable, and you know, don't yeah, they love that interaction. So please don't. You know, go on. You see them, just walk up to them and just have a chat with them, because yeah, they really are good people, and they've all the time in the world for you guys. So yeah, no, it's yeah. I just wanted to mention that, because it's something that I've heard a lot of people say to me, and I've said, no, don't talk to them unless Rachel's got a drink in her hand, and then
That's right.
it's like, you know, get to the point real quick. Because yeah, I'm joking. But no, it'll be great to catch you guys and to bring you up to speed on what we're doing with Harchie's work, and just it's an exciting time. I don't know what this. I get this vibe, really do, that 2026. This is not just me being optimistic, but I think there's some really big innovation coming in 2026, and I'm really excited. I mean, you know, from a Praetorian perspective, we've got so much what we're bringing to you know, into the industry with regards to the sector, with regards to computer access. And Chris knows about this as well, but also with AI, it's not just lip service that people. Yeah. That's
Sorry,
not.
What are you doing? A little hand gesture, because Praetorian has this relatively new, but it came out. You're prototyping it last year at ATIA. This motion detected switch that was, I don't know, you describe it, Bob. You can describe it.
It's a proximity switch. So it is a proximity switch which uses time of flight, which is it uses a class 1 laser. So it uses light. So you for an individual at the moment, if they're using a proximity switch that's around at the moment, it's like touchscreen technology. So you know, it's not particularly great for individuals that maybe, let's say, for example, someone has an artificial limb, they won't be able to access a proximity switch. Whereas with Toffee, names come around because of time of flight is the sensor we use. So we don't put a lot of thought into product names. I put my hands up. Toffee doesn't really translate very well to the US. I'm thinking of ways to address that, but it's just a whole level of access that individuals that use switches but can't access a switch with the pressure or the activator, not able to hit a switch. A proximity switch with a variable range is something that's been really cool. But that is really cool. And then that is even better, which is a Bluetooth version, which we're launching at ATIA. So awesome. From computer access perspective, it's going to be really, really cool for individuals. So yeah, but we are a small cog in this industry, and I have to say there are lots of really cool things that are being worked on and talked about that I think are really going to make a huge impact with regards to individuals. And a bit of a reset as well, I think, is what a lot of people are wanting to see now. with regards to AAC, and Harch alluded to it, in previously with regards to, I want to think outside the box. I don't want to use the conventional way of communication. I've done that. I know how that works. And he could say that because he'd gone down that route. He wanted to say, I wanted to utilize, AI in a good way, in the sense of predictive text. I want to utilize, he loved using WhatsApp and he loved using the emojis. And he thought utilizing shortcuts is what would really help him to, to get his point across and to communicate and just do what he wanted to do. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to bringing that work and his thoughts and his outlook to everyone and over the course of this year and in the future as well.
Bob, is there a website for the Harchie Way yet, or a way for people who are listening to this now to kind of get involved, a newsletter to sign up for or anything? What's the best way if people are listening going, ooh, I want to learn more and I want to connect? Well, what's the best way for them to do that?
I knew you were going to ask me this. So, in a simple answer, no, not yet is the best way to describe it. Where does it sound? It's sort of like the website and the whole email element. We will have. I'll have something hopefully set up as a holding page, at least for ATIA. But yes, a digital presence is something that is going to be very much something that will come along in a very short space of time, and just to highlighting the work that we do and the work that we plan to do, but also for individuals to reach out to us. My aim is, and this is something Harch and I talked about, is here in the UK there is a scheme called the AT Scholars, which Chris might be familiar with, where individuals can, professionals can submit a brief, as it were, and be considered for a visit to ATIA and to present, as well as to experience ATIA. Harch loved that idea, but he said, what I want to do is to enable an AC user to come and experience ATIA and to present. So like the PRC lecture, as it were. So that is one of the things that I want the foundation, we think the foundation will work towards, is for an AAC user from the UK, ACAT user from the UK, to go to ATIA and experience ATIA and all the elements that come with it. It's great for professionals and so forth, but like CM that Chris has experienced, and Rachel, you have an open invitation to come over to the UK to experience CM. You've seen how CM works. It is all based around. So sorry, CM is Communication Matters. We are the UK chapter of Isaac, and our conference. I say our conference. I sit on the board for Communication Matters. The whole ethos around Communication Matters is engagement, user engagement, and that is from presentations, interactions. There's so many. The whole conference is built around users and giving them the platform to express themselves and to engage with each other, as well as the industry as a whole. And it's a residential conference, so it's in Leeds University. We take over the campus early September, and it's great. And Chris has been there. He's had a few Guinnesses as when he was there as well. He drank quite a few Guinness. Though he didn't drink as much as his wife.
It's
Not
true.
surprising.
It's true. I can't keep this.
Melissa was like, "Okay, where's the bar?" And yeah, you do your thing, Chris. I'll be at the bar. So hence me and Melissa got on great guns. We got on really well. So,
Yeah.
but no, it's a great conference, and that's the essence of that. Is what Harch wants to do for ultimately is work towards getting a user over to AAC user over to experience what he wanted to experience with regards to ATIA, and so yeah, that's one of the things that's one of another dream of his. So that's something I've got to make sure we can realize as such as well.
Well, I know that you will keep us in the loop, and we can share it out through all of our, potential means here of as the website develops or a newsletter develops or as things develop, of course we'll be in contact. So let us know what we can do to help.
Yeah, I will do, guys, and yeah, there'll be a lot of engagement, I think, on that front. But yeah, that all of the above is what we'll have in place, and that interaction is something that we want to make sure we do in the right way. But yeah, absolutely. So and then it's coming over the coming months. You'll hear and see a lot more about the Harchie Way, and you got to learn about this exceptional young man and the impact he's had. And also, you'll get to see and hear, hopefully, and experience, what he wanted to put in place, and hopefully that will come to fruition, and we'll see some changes. But like I say, I'm excited about what the future holds. It's a double-edged sword because Harch knew what was coming and he was excited about it, but it's up for me. It's down to me and the foundation to pick up that to pick that up for him and move forward with it. So that's what we'll definitely be doing. But we're not alone in that. There are so many people like yourselves that will ensure that happens. So yeah, exciting times ahead for sure.
Thank you so much, Bob. It was such a pleasure talking to you. I'm so excited for your presentation at ATIA and also just connecting and, like I said, giving you a big hug. We really appreciate you coming on today and sharing everything. And I'm really just so eager to see everything that unfolds with this foundation and honoring Harchie and all of the amazing work that he was doing in the field. And seeing that continue on. So thank you so much for being here today and doing all the work that you do.
No worries. It's a pleasure. Always a pleasure to catch up with you guys.
So for Talking with Tech, I'm Rachel Mado, joined by Chris Bouguet and Bob Sagoo. Thank you guys so much for listening. We'll talk to you soon.